Hello guys, welcome to Salesforce Network, Salesforce Administrator tutorial. Topic what we are going to cover in this session, that is validation rule. Validation rule verifies whether provided data is compatible or not. So validation rule are going to verify whether what the data we are going to provide that is compatible or not, means it is suitable for that field or not. If it is suitable, then it is going to save the record, otherwise it is displaying error message or suggestion. If the data is not compatible, then throw an error message, otherwise save the record. Validation rules are of two types. So there are two types of validation rule, that is system validation rule and custom validation rule. System validation rules, these are defined by Salesforce. So all the system validation rules are defined by Salesforce and given to us. This will check whether required fields are entered or not. So it is going to check if there is a required field for an object on the page, so it is filled or not. Also data is compatible with data type. So again it is going to check like the data type is matching for that field or not. Custom validation rule, these rules are defined by the user as per the business requirement. So why custom validation rule? So if we had created our own object and we had created our own field, we need to verify the data for that custom field. So in that case we are going to write our custom validation rule. When the rule is true, then throw error message. So for what we are writing the custom validation rule, if it is going to be true, then it is throwing an error message. When rule is false, then save the record. So if rule is not satisfying, then it is going to save the record. Here we have to think like in a reverse order. So for what we had created the validation rule, if it is going to be true, then it is going to throw the message or throw the error message, otherwise it is going to save the record. So today's assignment is on validation rule. Create a new field by the name date of joining on employee object. So already we had created the employee object. On that one we have to create a new field of date of joining. Write a validation rule to make date of joining field required. So on this custom field what we had created, date of joining, on that field we have to make it required. As we are creating our own custom field, so if it is going to be required, we have to make it required. Also date of joining field must be greater than date of birth field. So to do the practical, just log into our Salesforce account by providing the username and password. By default it is going to redirect on lightning experience page. So first we need to search for our application. So in this application we have already created the employee object. So on this employee object we have to create date of joining field. So let's see on employee object what the fields are available. So as we are seeing, employee name, employee ID, designation, date of birth, experience, but there is not any date of joining field. So for every employee this is a mandatory field that date of joining field should be there. So relevant to that we are going to create a date of joining field and we are making it greater than date of birth. So by clicking on employee object, just click on setup, click edit object. We are redirecting in a detail of employee object. So employee details. So this is a custom object, and we have to click on fields and relationship, as we have to create date of joining field. So date of joining field must be of date type. So click on new. We have to choose the data type. So we are choosing date data type. Click next. Here the field name would be date of joining. Then you have to provide the description and help text. For now I am not making it required. On the page layout we will see the same thing. So establish field level security, I am going with default. Click next. Add to page layout, employee page layout, it is going to be added. Click save, as we don't have to create any more field. So clicking on save. So here we are able to see that date of joining, and it is appended by _C, means it is a custom field created by us. So up to now we didn't did anything related to validation rule. So now we are going to create a validation rule for this. So as per the assignment we have to make it mandatory or required. So let's see on the page layout how we are going to make any field required. So how we are going to make it required? So click on page layout, click employee layout. As it is available over here, it should have to display there also. So date of joining is there. We simply have to click on properties. See, date of joining, read only and required. If we are checking this checkbox, it is making it required. So this field is required. So clicking on save, it's done. The first part of our assignment is completed. Then we are going to create validation rule. So simply we have to scroll down. So lightning record page, buttons, compact layout, field sets, object limits, record types. These are all the properties of this employee only. So at the bottom we are seeing validation rule. Simply click on this. So up to now there is no validation rule written for this employee custom object. So as we are going to create a first validation rule for this employee object, we need to click on new. Define a validation rule by specifying an error condition and a corresponding error message. This error condition is written as Boolean formula expression that returns true or false. So it is finally returning true or false. Validation rule edit. What we are going to give the name for validation rule. Date of joining is required, making it active. If we are not making it active, we can't see the performance for this. So anyhow we had created the validation rule. This all the things are fine, but you had not checked this checkbox, so it is not going to work in the real time. So what we have to do here, uh, insert the field date employee, date of joining, insert. So date of joining must be greater than date of birth. So insert operator. So in the operator I am going to choose greater than, this symbol. So all the operators we are finding over here: add, subtract, multiply, divide, expression, greater, smaller and all. So I am going with greater than, and then we have to choose the second field. So employee object and date of birth. It should be greater than date of birth. It can't be less than date of birth. So check the syntax. It's perfect. Error message. So here we have to display the error. This message will appear when error condition formula is true. So if the error condition is going to be true, then it is going to display the message. So here I am providing the error message. So here I had provided the message: date of joining must be greater than date of birth, where you have to show the message. You can choose either top of the page or near to field. This error message can either appear at the top of the page or below a specific field on the page. So if I am going with top of the page, so it is going to be top, and if I am choosing with the field, so beside below field it is going to display. So below date of joining it is going to display. Click save. So validation rule we had created and it is active. If your validation rule is not working, then you have to go to your validation rule what you had written. You have to check it, is it active or not. If it is not, it is not going to perform. So again, coming back to our employee management system application, reloading this page, clicking on employee, so clicking new. Yes, it's coming. So employee name, employee ID, designation, date of birth, date of joining, experience. So let's create a record. Employee name Sachin, employee ID I am providing, Seven, EMP007, designation engineer, and date of birth. Suppose I am taking the date of birth 2000, 30th September 2000, and let's check this is working or not. So I am going with 1999 or 1990. Is it possible? The date of birth of Sachin is 2000 and he joined for a company in 1990. Is it relevant record? It can't. So let's see what is happening. So experience I am putting like 8 years, like 20 years of experience. And if I am clicking on save button, it should have to throw the error message that date of birth and date of joining is not a proper record. So let's, why it is getting saved, date of joining, it should, maybe validation rule is not working here. Let's modify this record. Why it is like this? If I am putting 2010. Okay, I had given there. I had to give their validation rule. Actually, there is an error in this validation rule. Date of joining is less than date of birth. Here the formula should be date of joining is less than date of birth, not greater than. Here we have to check the reverse order. So what we had did the mistake, date of joining must be smaller than date of birth. So check syntax, it's perfect. Date of joining must be greater than date of birth. The error message is good. So click save. So again coming to this record. So delete this record. Otherwise so many guys are getting confused why it is happening like this. So again I am going to create a new record. So Sachin and employee ID I am taking 8, designation cricketer, and date of birth again I am going to take 2000, and date of joining I am taking 1990. It can't be possible in the real time. So experience I am putting something 20. So if I am hitting the save button, it should have to throw the error message. And what we are getting the error message, date of joining must be greater than date of birth. So this value must be greater than this value. So if he had joined like 2020, it is relevant record. If I am clicking on save record, this is saved. Standard validation is already given by Salesforce, and it is going to check all the data types and data is properly given or not. So let's see for the validation rule what is given by Salesforce. So here employee name is there. So employee name we are seeing the asterisk mark here, required. So this is going to be take care by Salesforce. We had not made it required. When we had created the object employee object, at that time employee name is we had taken the data type text for this employee name, and this field must be have to entered in the while putting the information related to this employee. This field must have to be entered. If we are skipping this field, it is not going to save the record. So let's see some different object also. So see payment. So while created, if I am clicking on new button, so see salary we had make it required. This relationship what is there employee, if we are missing this as per the master detail relationship, if we are missing the field, it can't be saved the record, and this is defined by Salesforce. We don't have control on that one. So if someone is saving the record without putting the information for the required field what is created by Salesforce, they can't save the record. So as in the definition also, standard validation rules are occurred by the Salesforce. It is by default occurring from Salesforce itself, and it is going to check the data type as well. So for this, if the data type is text, then in that case it is going to take only text and number. Other than that, it is not going to accept. If I had created a field like date, here I can't put any number. So if I am putting random number, it should not be accepted by the Salesforce. So it is going to validate the data and the data type also. So if I am putting this number, it is not going to accept. Let's see, if I am providing the salary like 30k, and here I am providing any random number at the place of date field. So it is suggesting that your entry does not match the allowed format. You have to provide DD, MM, YY. So this validation rule is written by Salesforce. We had not written this validation rule. This is standard validation rule. So standard validation rule is displaying the message as well as it is suggesting the format also, means it is checking the data type as well. So it is suggesting you have to provide in this format only. So let's see if I am providing in the format. So I am modifying this particular record. So if I am going with 10/10, then 2000. So 10/10 and 2000 in this format only. So it should be accepted. So here see, it is getting accepted. So it is checking the validation, means you have to provide the data. In this case you have to provide the data, or in this case if it is required, and also it is checking the data type. So this is not a relevant data type what we had provided previously. So it is suggesting also you have to provide a proper data. Until you are not providing the proper data, we are not going to accept this record, this information. So a standard validation is created by Salesforce, and it is going to take care related to that field or object. And custom validation, what we had created as per our business scenario, business requirement, then in that case we have to define our error message, the condition. So on that particular condition, if it is not in a proper way, it is throwing a error message, and if it is in proper way or it is relevant data, it is going to accept and save the record.